Uh, there have been so many. Like, one of them is when we went to the nature center that's near Lewis and Clark University for our emergency board meeting, because we had like $2,000 in the bank and we were doing so good, but we were like, we have no money. What do we do? And I think you made like a quiche for the first time. And everybody came with heart and like the best intention because we knew we had a problem and we knew we had to fix it. I think an open mind, inherent sense of diplomacy, not being scared of technology, and in the end, I think being comfortable with discomfort, maybe just a little bit. The lobbyist is your grand networker. They help connect you, as Stephen did for years, to state agencies, to the legislature in order to advance our own unique legislation. Also hiring an administrative assistant, but having someone to support your day-to-day operations and also monitor the legislature. These are the two main things that you need to build out your team. I think was the whole strategic planning process. We had like focus groups and we did like qigong and like the side yard. There were like sticky notes and I still look to those documents as why we're able to be successful, because we did that kind of a process. I think my favorite was the dream lecture with Bob Quinn. I've been to all of them and I've enjoyed the content, but in terms of the connection and the magic and the like, how do we bring people together to have interesting conversations, I felt like that one worked on every level. That someone needs to do it. Well, what is doing it? A huge part of doing it is listening, which I think every acupuncturist is incredibly attuned to. As you listen to individual stories, you start to hear the patterns between individual stories, and so you start to realize what's important to most acupuncturists. And then once you've done those things, then you decide a course of action. And I think everyone is capable of that. And one of them was hosting the Kansas Acupuncture Association before they got a Practice Act, showing a film about them being on the road, Skyping in their leadership, and getting to celebrate them getting a Practice Act. As Oregonians, we have managed to not only fight legal struggles against other licensing boards, but to demonstrate fundraising capacity, organizational capacity, and this serves as a beacon to other states. One of my favorite memories is driving up to a meeting in Seattle with two of our past presidents for the association, Laura Acker and Peter Martin. And we're driving up, and I have the small book of Robert's Rules of Order. And on the whole road trip, up and back, we read out loud to each other how you facilitate a meeting according to Robert's Rules of Order. And I was like, nerds! Because of moments like that, and because of serving on the board with people, I have been able to call on everyone that I've served with in one way or another. And that is incredibly valuable. I remember when we got the news about the dry needling decision related to the rulemaking process for the Oregon Board of Chiropractic Examiners. And I was incredibly proud to be part of that team and those people at that moment. It was a real sense of victory after a long period of hardship. Because they show up, or they have a personal conversation, or they reach out. They're driven by a cause, whether it be it a t-shirt campaign, be it an event, be it the annual CEUs, or fighting for a cause like dry needling. I don't think there is any reason why someone who is a licensed profession in our discipline doesn't have some reason to support our shared professional future. So will I provide help to new leadership, or am I available? The answer is a universal yes. I joined the board because I went to an annual conference tabling for OCOM's doctoral program, and I was manning the table, and I also at that time was working in a chiropractic office where my manager said to me, hey, do you know anything about dry needling? And I was like, what's that? He's like, you should pay attention. And so I was at the conference and I heard some talk about it, and I heard some great presentations, and then it came to the call to serve on the board. And I think it was Mona that I talked to, and I was like, hey, Mona. I was like, I'm not a member yet, but if I joined right now, could I run for the board? And she's like, do you have a checkbook? And I was like, okay. So I believe I wrote my membership check and put my name on the ballot near simultaneously. People, I think people could do it in a different way than I do. As long as they show up, they believe in the same thing. You could do it with a different flavor. You could do it with a different pacing. There's no reason to do it the way that I did. It's having people around you that also care. Like, that's been the greatest gift to all of it.